table. This subject is hard to talk about, and it happens with a lot of people, and it's happened with me and Mr. Band. The subject is suicide. Mental health is a big deal and should be taken lightly. If this subject is too hard to listen to, you can click off. But this episode holds dear to my heart and to Mr. Band's, and I really appreciate this happening. Suicide. It's when one inflicts self-harm to kill them to end their lives. And a lot of families have gone through it, and I've personally gone through it. Kind of funny thing, when it happens, it usually happens when someone hates themselves to the point where they can't even love themselves. It happens when someone is being bullied too much and you feel unwanted and they don't confide in their family because they're afraid to. Sorry. It's horrible when it happens. It's terrible. And no one no one deserves that. No one deserves to feel like they don't matter. And my experience with this is going through elementary school and middle school. I felt like there was something wrong with me. And I felt like no one really understood. So I did bad things. I hurt people. I made up lies. I broke up my family because of it. I felt like I couldn't go to my parents, so I pushed them away and made some enemies for myself. Especially going to my family. I embarrassed them a lot. It's basically a walking disaster because I didn't care about myself. I didn't want help. I knew there was something wrong with me, but by the time I realized how much damage was done, it was too late. So I felt I didn't deserve to be alone. I didn't deserve to be loved. So I tried to make everyone hate me. And now my brother hates me. And I understood why. And it's taken me a long time to forgive myself for everything that I've done to them and what they've done with me. I'm still working on myself, but I love myself enough to know that it's okay. Me and my brother don't talk at all. I know that one day we'll be friends again. It just takes time. Me and Suicide had been friends a long time until I realized I would be missed. I realized how much my parents would miss me, how much my family missed me if I disappeared from their lives. And then I let Mr. Suicide go. I let him walk away from everything. I need to tell her because I was happy. I got a new boyfriend. I had a couple boyfriends before Mr. Fan, but I was graduated high school. I had a bunch of friends. My life was going good, and then I graduated and I got in college. And I was trying to make friends that I started love. So what's nothing to die for? I have so much to live for now. And then it struck my family again. My cousin of mine did the unthinkable. And I'm like, he's back. But not for me. He's back for my family. And it hurt to hear that someone else was feeling this pain. And none of my friends has suffered through this as well. They suffer through suicide, and I have to stop them from making a big mistake. Suicide is a long-term solution to a temporary. I had to tell my friends how loved they were and how much I loved them and how much I needed them in my life. And that I would miss them so much. And I would cry every day. So I had to spread the light. That's what drove me to become a social become a social worker, to work with kids with mental issues and teenagers with mental issues. Because it hurts to talk about. And they feel like no one is going to be there for them. That's my story with Mr. Suicide.
My story. I lost a very good friend of mine at 21 years old. I was 18 at the time. 17 at the time. 17, 18 at the time. I knew his mother. I knew his aunt. I knew his family. A loving son. I get a Facebook post from a friend of mine saying he's dead. And you say, it can't be. It is. Every day, I had to drive by the place where he was just getting off work. 21 years old. Had his whole life ahead of him. Got struck by a drunk driver. Then going into work 12 hours later, knowing that you didn't get to say goodbye. You didn't get to have peace and closure. And then compounding that onto the stresses of work on top of your own personal stuff. On more than one occasion, I thought about hanging myself because I could not bear the pain of going to his funeral and his burial. And the reasons I started illegally drinking at 18 to drink my fucking sorrows away. I'm sorry for the language.
Language warning.
I went to bed. I went to bed angry. I got up angry every day.
It's okay. It's okay.
The only reason I didn't follow through is I didn't want my parents finding my brain matter splatter around these walls,
God.
or seeing my neck like this. This is at 18. I had my whole life ahead of me. I had this job.
Suicide.
I'm not done, Miss Valiant. I was going down a road that no human should ever go down. I didn't care about life. Every day, another person close to me dies. Another one, and another one. It wasn't until my niece, I became an uncle to my very first niece, and I hid this problem, the suicide problem, from my parents. I first had to find peace, knowing that 21-year-old is in a greater place. His mother is at peace. His family is at peace. And his mother gave me the best advice. And she said, William, or Mr. Fan, it's okay. He was a good son. Remember him for when he was alive. I couldn't understand it at the time. When my first niece was born, I had a little come to Jesus moment with myself, and I told myself I will never go down that path ever again. That path leads to a lot of darkness, a lot of resentment, a lot of what ifs that you'll never answer, lives that will be shattered beyond repair, people closest to you wondering what could they have done, what could have they said. At the end of the day, you look for purpose in life. You have kids. Your kids are your purpose. You have a nice job. Your job is your purpose. What finally helped, and I know me and Miss Valiant, we talk about it, but not as much as most people. We found religion. Am I wrong? Suicide is no joke. If you know somebody, please reach out before it's too late, because you may be saving a life.
They may get mad at you. They may yell and curse you, tell you you're not a true friend, but it's for the best. I watched a movie recently called Cyberbully with Emily Osment, based on a true story. Bullying can cause, going back to the first episode, bullying can cause great harm. More than you know. Going back to the school shooting episode, some kids do that because they think nobody gives a crap about them, and everybody in school had a chance to step in and do something about it, but they stood and watched. Don't stand and watch someone get heckled in the hallway. It doesn't matter if it's not your fight, because you could be saving the entire school from a shooting. You could be saving someone you love from committing the unthinkable. To watch someone die, my aunt watched someone explode their head in the middle of the street, and it was her niece. She watched her do it, and all she could think about was, what the hell happened? And all she could do was scream and call 911. Your parents love you. And people out there today, you need to tell someone you know that you love them, and that you care about them, and that you need them in their lives, even if it's just for a random reason. You need to let them know and hold them, embrace them, and say, I love you. And it's even worse when you have a fight and you say something you don't mean. And that could be the last straw for them to take their lives. My question of the day for this episode, I have two. Do you know someone who's having issues? My second question is, how do you deal with someone? How do you deal with losing someone? It's not like a normal grievance with death. Not like someone you know died of old age, or had cancer, or had some type of brain tumor, or had some type of disease. This is someone who was healthy physically and was sick mentally. How do you deal with someone with mental illness? Let me know in the comments below. I'm signing off as Miss Valley.
And I'm signing off as Mr. Fan.
We love you guys.
We
Take care of
truly,
yourself.